right. And you, so hi. So I'm Siris Rivas, and this is What's Your Sexual Expression? And interestingly, this is actually came from a discussion with one of my wonderful co-creators, Lorraine Hughes, and I. We love talking about sex and intimacy and bodies a lot. And we had wondered about creating a call maybe 6 months ago that was all about sexual preference. And it didn't really, it wasn't really congruent with what we were working on and creating at the time. And instead, it kind of morphed into me doing this call where it was more about the communication, the receiving and the gifting, and not just about preference, even though we can definitely talk about preference within this call if you'd like. There's a lot of people that have been asking us a lot about is it bad for me to actually prefer women? Is it bad for me to prefer men? Is it bad to me to have a preference at all? And so that kind of was the starting of the dialogue. And then it shifted. It's like, okay, well, what is your sexual expression in all respects, beyond the preferences, beyond who you're choosing to copulate with or not? And so that's what I will invite you to today, is for us to talk about it in whatever way we would like to talk about it. A little background about me. I am a speech and language pathologist and communication specialist and learning behavioral specialist. So I really love working and looking at what people's behavior tells us about them, what their bodies and what their choices are letting us know about them. And a lot of times people's behavior, when it's an unconscious behavior, isn't necessarily communicating what they would like to communicate to themselves, to their families, to the world. And so one of the things that I'm looking at with this call is where any of us are actually sending out a message with our bodies and with our choices that we don't actually intend to send out. So you can unmute yourselves at any point. You can comment in the chat what's coming up for y'all with any of that. And as that's kind of brewing and coming up, I'm also an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. So I facilitate intro calls like this, multi-parts like the one that's starting tomorrow, and foundation class. And I also am a body process facilitator. And so I get to play with bodies and actually have them unlock how they are showing up in the world. It's like things can really be different if you actually partner with your bodies and receive with your body in more joyous, easeful ways. And so all of these different roles and all these different jobs and things and businesses intersect and play with each other. But at the core of it, it's really body and energy and communication. Yeah, those are like the three things. It's all that. So where are you communicating something with your body that you actually don't mean to communicate? Where would you like to actually communicate something different?
I'm realizing that sometimes when I'm a yes, I don't say yes or choose it. And sometimes when I'm a no, I don't say no and not choose it.
And you see how that is actually beyond copulation? It's beyond putting the body parts together. Like there's things that we do and choose with our bodies that all the time, if we don't really listen to what our body's yes is, or let's say we get them from awareness and then we go against it, well, what does that create for our bodies? Our body's like, I gave you the awareness. I let you know. Here you go. And then you're like, yeah, sure. But we're going to do this anyway. So yes, so before we go into some of that, so what is your body's yes? If you ask your body right now, okay, body, and let's actually expand in all directions, our awareness in all directions. That makes it really, for me when I do this, it makes it a lot clearer and kind of louder for me to know what's the true yes in these 10 seconds and what's the true no. And I say in these 10 seconds because it can change. Mine, it does all the time. We're constantly changing and evolving, so are our bodies. So this yes or no, it's nice to kind of check in on it every once in a while. I do it basically almost each morning. I'm like, okay, what's the yes today? What's the no today? Okay, got it. Let me know if it's shifted during the day, but I'm going to go with this. All right, body? Okay, cool. So expand your awareness in all directions, beyond the buildings that you're in, up and down, side to side, front and back, beyond the cities that you're in, beyond the countries that you're in, beyond the earth and the moons and the stars and the planets, and keep going in all directions beyond all of the universes and multiverses. And just notice your body now, like how it feels. And this is the ease that can be possible when you actually have what's true for you and your body, when you have that clarity, when you have this space. And so if you ask your body from this space, from being this space, okay, body, today, what's yes? What does your body do? Does it stay still? Does it move in some way? Is it a certain part of the body that moves, if there's any movement? Is there a lifting? For me, it's like an undulating is yes right now. That's just right now.
I
All
feel
right,
super
and then
light, bubbly.
light and bubbly. Sometimes it's a giggle that'll bubble up. The yes is and then ask your body, okay, body, so what's no in these 10 seconds? And what do you get? For me, it's kind of like this traction, like the pulling, and it's back, like almost like a like if my spine were a rope and it's being pulled backwards, and my shoulders get jutted back. Like, nope, it's not what we're going to choose right now. Okay. Whatever it is for you, just know that and be that right now. That clarity. Really, really handy tool. So for anything. So what was brought up about, okay, so sometimes I get that my body would like something and then I don't choose it. How many of us has that ever been the case? Be it maybe even today, you had a moment where you're like, oh, I think my body would like, I don't know, more vegetables, or my body would like a walk, or my body would like some touch. And then you don't choose it. And what if we don't choose it, it's nothing wrong. It's just we just didn't choose it at that moment. And then it created whatever it created. And then you can choose to continue to not listen to your body about that, or to actually choose it now. So what would you like? What would it create if you actually did what your body told you earlier today? I'm getting there's a lot of stuff earlier today. Funny enough. Okay. We don't even have to go that far back. All right, cool. How does it get any better than that? So you got a fresh example of anti-consciousness. Consciousness includes everything without judgment. So it includes when we don't choose to follow our awareness, when we don't choose to listen to our body. That's okay. That was just a choice. So the other piece too is now after you don't choose, maybe the awareness your body lets you know is something different. Like, okay, that was a while ago. That was multiple 10 seconds ago. Your body might say, all right, well now I'd actually like this. So don't assume that just because it gave you the awareness earlier, like, oh, I really wanted that walk. Well, now it's maybe nighttime. Like for me, if my body asked for a walk earlier today and I didn't do it, and now it's colder, it's darker. If I went to go for a walk, my body would be like, oh, no, now is not the time. It was before. So now, okay, now what would you like, body? Now what would you like? So where is it that you're willing to receive your body's awareness? In what areas of your life? And where are you absolutely refusing to acknowledge your body's awareness? I saw that smile. And everyone else is like, was it me? Were you smiling? You can smile now. It's okay. It's allowed. Fun is allowed. So really look at that. For me, for the longest time, with almost everything, I wasn't willing to listen to my body. I didn't know that that was even something you could do. That was not something that I was taught to do. I was really great at listening to people in interpersonal interactions. You know, at parties and at events and things with friends, I would listen to them, and I would often use what I heard to help them feel better, to try to meet their needs, to make them comfortable. Are we willing to do that and be that with our bodies? To meet our body's needs, to make our bodies more comfortable, to have that sense of space, to not be in pain, to not have the aches, to not have any anxiety, the flutters and things like that. It's amazing how if we are willing to do it in one area of our life, we can be that and do that and generalize it to other areas of our lives. So that's why it's like, okay, really look at, okay, where am I willing to? Like maybe it's with business. Like with business, it's like I'm actually really looking at, like, I'll know exactly, okay, this is where I need to go. I need to collaborate with this person. I need to call this person. This person is not going to be a good fit for the business. Got it? Flowing, flowing, flowing. If that's it for you. Maybe it's with family. Maybe you have amazing relationships. And if you do, please let me know, because I love hearing about people who have amazing relationships, because it doesn't really exist much on this planet. You don't really see that very often. So I love be like, oh, here's another one. And I can add it to my handful that I know about. But if you would like that, to actually follow your awareness and follow what your body's telling you more and more and more, look at first where you are doing it. Acknowledge that, because everybody has at least one area in their life, if not 2 or 3, where they actually are able to do that, where they are willing to do that. All right, cool. Everyone seems to have, does everyone have at least one area that they can identify? Maybe? Or are you really into like saying that you suck at everything? I'm horrible. I'm a failure. Okay. Well, that's an interesting point of view. Like really look at it. Like, or maybe it wasn't right now. If you can't come up with one area now, what if at some point in your life when you were willing to do that and be that?
She can see you now.
I've been able to see you, my love, this whole time. It's okay. I can hear you now. I wasn't able to hear you before.
I wasn't able to hear you either, but it took Megan to figure out technology for me. There's Megan.
Okay, cool. Hi, thank you, Megan. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. So, where were we? So yes. So let's say if it's not right now that there's an area where you have ease with listening to your body and what your body's telling you and what your body's expressing. Because that's the thing, you can't really know what you're communicating out to anybody else if you're not willing to have that yourself. Like if you're not conscious about what your body's telling you, then how do you know what your body's telling other people?
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on? You wanted to mention something? Somebody unmuted. Yeah.
I am becoming very aware of how I never listened to my body. And so I've been in this journey really in the last year and a half of how to embrace listening to my body in really so many areas that I can't even name them. And part of that journey was finding access consciousness and becoming involved with access consciousness, which has been mind-blowing and amazing and wonderful. And so that awareness just continues to grow. And so that's one of my big draws for being on this call, is just to continue to grow that awareness, that connection, that attention to really what my body is saying, and being in union rather than disconnect.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Because disconnect got me really sick.
Yeah,
So,
same here, honey.
yeah.
Like
So,
verge of death sick. Yeah.
so I'm done with that.
Yay!
I'm just done with that. And,
How does it get any better? Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
So, yeah. So, and exactly what you were saying, like it plays out in every area of being. So, I'm just really open, really curious to greater awareness and how to deconstruct that and shift it.
Awesome. So you were saying that it shifted a ton. Have you acknowledged how much has already shifted? You said that it has shifted a lot.
Oh, yeah.
All these different
Definitely.
areas. Okay, great.
Yeah, definitely.
So so what aspect of it has been the most effective for you in getting it to show up faster? Like what would work for you to get it to show up faster? And it might not be something that you can verbalize, but I'm asking because it's like you already acknowledge it, you've been choosing it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that you can be like, okay, so what can I be or do to speed this up? Because I'm choosing it. I'm willing to have it, body. Let's go. Thanks so much. This is awesome. Let's ramp it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can ask for that. Thank you for bringing all that up. Okay. So there's so many places I could go right now. I'm like looking at it. Okay. So one of the calls, I just finished a month-long call where we did, it was called Exuberantly You. And so we did something every single day for a month on Facebook in this closed Facebook group. And the last one today was interestingly about silence. And it was about actually being willing to be with silence. So what if expressing ourselves sexually and otherwise was beyond the verbal? Are we willing to also have the silences? And so anywhere that you're not really getting and acknowledging how much you're perceiving and receiving in the silences, would you let all that go?
Yeah.
Because that is really pivotal. There's a lot of those moments of silence that if we're willing to even have it, that peace and calm and silence in the midst of a lot of noise, in the midst of all this chaos, in the midst of movement and change, in the midst of transition, that actually allows us to have what's exuberantly us. Our awareness, totally, no matter what shows up and who shows up, no matter what body's there and what body's not there, it's like, okay, what if I could have peace and calm with all of this? Yeah. So where do you already have ease with the silences? What spaces invite that for you? For me, what's popping up right now is like when I'm in yoga, like in a yoga studio, like sometimes at the end with the shavasana, when they turn off all the music and you just lay there and it's like you just really get to be that relaxed, like, blissed out space, like you've just been wrung out like a wonderful towel at the end. When you're in a forest or hiking, maybe, like where are those places that invite you to that? And what if you can actually have that no matter where you are? So we're touching upon a couple different things. And at the end, underlying all of that is this willingness to have your awareness, and that knowing that it's actually going to show up differently for each of us. For some of us, we hear it. For some of us, we see things. For some of us, we'll sense something. Our body will give us the sensation or this feeling. Sometimes we'll just know. Boom, I just know this. I didn't hear it, I didn't see it, I didn't smell it. It's just here. Sometimes there's a combination of them. What if whatever way that you're receiving how other people are expressing themselves wasn't greater or less than anyone else, wasn't right or wrong, it's just this is the way you're receiving it in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you receive how other people express themselves? Are you actually way greater at that than you've acknowledged? How many of you have been picking up on people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, on their ideas, on what they're about to choose, maybe even before they're choosing it? Like, oh, they're going to do this. And you just know that they're about to go there or do this or say this.
Yeah.
You guys got that. So what if you could actually consciously choose that, to have that all the time with everybody and with everything? But it starts with that acknowledgement. A big part of all of my calls is acknowledgement and gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not willing to acknowledge it, you can't really have more of it. You're not actually acknowledging that you're the creator of your life, that your choices are creating your life in every moment. And the energies that you're willing to be and receive and perceive and know about, those that you're willing to flow and those that you're willing to pull, all of those create your life. All of that creates your life. All right, what else is coming up? What else would like to talk about? Because I could talk about a lot of things. Is there anything that you would like addressed, ideas on, that when you saw the name of this call or the description that you were like, I'd like to know more about this. I'd like to explore this. Can she give me some ideas on this?
So how about being exuberantly me without running somebody else over?
Mm.
And I get the, asking what others can receive. And I don't even know that I necessarily ask at times, or at least I wasn't. And I'm kind of aware of some people that's happened with, and so I'm just I'm going,
Is it actually possible for you to railroad over somebody by being exuberantly you?
Well, thank you, no. Thank you.
It's just one of those lies that we're told and we sometimes buy. Well,
Yeah.
if you're being exuberantly you, you'll have all the awareness of what someone's willing to receive or not. You could just be that question too. And it takes practice. That's part of what we're going to be looking at for the next 4 weeks, starting tomorrow, is how we can actually be the exuberant expression of our sexual self. And when I say sexual self, it's actually being willing to have all of the sexualness, all of that nurturing, generative, creative energy, that what we feel like when we have that peace and calm, what we feel like when we know we just got it, no matter what shows up in our lives, that. And so we'll be looking at that and really clearing all the lies that we've bought about what that would mean for other people, what that would mean for us, what that would mean for our bodies. And what could it actually create? A lot of us focus on, oh, it's going to destroy something. It's going to create less than, things are going to diminish, instead of, wow, what would be possible if I was willing to be exuberantly me? What would it invite people to? I wonder.
Yeah.
And it doesn't actually have to be about saying anything. Like, one of the things that we looked at in the last month with Exuberantly You is a lot of people, because I'm so verbal, they think they need to be verbal. Or I love wearing, like, sometimes I'll wear really bright lipstick, or I love color. I have green hair. I don't know if you can tell right now, and but that's just the way it shows up for me right now. That isn't what I was choosing before. That might not be what I choose even next week. None of it's right or wrong. And it's like, and what would actually work for you? What would be fun for you? What if I know people, and maybe you can even think of like some celebrities or something like that, where they can walk into the room, they don't say anything. They don't have even like loud clothing or colorful stuff. They don't have piercings or tattoos, whatever it is, even though I love piercings and tattoos. But it's like, they're just being totally them. And on a non-cognitive level, people pick up on that vibration, and they're just like, that. Hi. Whoa. Yeah. But are we actually willing to be totally seen like that? To actually be received? Or are we so used to not being received by other people, to be hidden away, to hide ourselves from ourselves, that we can't even fathom what it would actually be like if you're being totally received? What if it's okay if they judge you? What if it's okay if they didn't? Like, if you're willing to be seen, you can receive both of that with a lot more ease. If you're willing to be exuberantly you and express yourself and radiate out whatever vibration is you, uniquely yours, you're not going to be at the effect of anyone else's points of views, be it the positive or negative judgments. It's just going to be an interesting point. That's it. So where have you bought that if you were actually expressing everything that was true for you, you would actually be choosing against someone or something else, that you'd actually be railroading or destroying? It's almost like this, like, stomping on someone energy, like, that's what I'm getting right now, like, like you're like a giant. Like, is that actually something that you would choose? You guys get that? Like, y'all, it's like, it's not even something that you would choose, but you use that lie to stop you from even showing up and lighting up and being like, yeah, I love my life. Let's do this. I love my body. I have so much fun with my body. What else is possible? And what else? And what else? And what else?
I've noticed that can make others uncomfortable.
Are you willing to make other people uncomfortable? Because that's the other thing. When we're willing to be uncomfortable ourselves, we're actually means that we're expanding our world, that we're trying new things, that we're not staying stagnant and in a box. So what if we were willing to make other people uncomfortable, we're actually inviting them to expand their worlds, to get out of their boxes. And they can choose it or not. Just like we've had moments where we've been really uncomfortable and we're like, oh, back in the box. That's it. That's fine. That was too much. Oh, I'm not going to do it. Right? But if we're not even willing to be that for ourselves and with our bodies and for ourselves, well, then we're never actually going to invite other people to a different possibility. But I kind of get, if y'all are on this call, if you are brave enough to play with me and all of my craziness and my whoa, well, then you're willing to shake up some realities and invite people to something different. So what if it was actually not wrong to make people uncomfortable? That was one of the lies that I bought. I was trying to make everybody really comfortable, at ease. I was the mediator. I was trying to bridge gaps between people and help them communicate. I was translating between family members because they couldn't even hear each other. So when I was around, I'd be like, this is what they meant. oh, this is what this person's saying, and da da da. And it was all of this. And it's like, what if I just let them kind of go through the discomfort of the miscommunications, and then they'd have to get to a place where they would have to find something different, another way of communicating, another way of expressing themselves, that maybe it wasn't verbal anymore. Maybe they had to actually communicate something with different choices, to communicate something with their energy, communicate something with what they were willing to receive or not from this other family member or their coworker or things like that. And that's not always the case. I'm willing to be the mediator sometimes now. I just don't go automatically into doing that role. Well, it's about choosing it consciously and being in the question about what it's going to create if I did it and what it's going to create if I don't. Before, I felt like it was my job. That was one of many jobs that I gave myself, was to make people comfortable, was to create ease. And then they go back and do it over and over and over again, and not actually, it wasn't empowering them to have it for themselves without me. So then they needed me, and I needed to be needed back then. How many of y'all need to be needed? Right back So with that, one of the things that was pointed out to me, and I'm still super, super grateful for the person that pointed this out to me, they told me, well, if you're doing everything for everyone else, if you're always going to the rescue, you're telling the people unconsciously, it was unintentional, that they're not capable of doing it. You're basically saying, I'm better than you. There's a stance of superiority when you go into helping and fixing and saving, and not being in the question about what it would create if you did something and what would it create if you didn't. Sometimes I get that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and help them out. I'm going to go pick them up from the airport. I'm going to go and sit at this meeting and see if we can mediate things. It's not that you never do it. It's really looking at what's possible and what's not possible. Are my actions going to empower, or are my actions going to disempower? Yeah. And that's one of the things that we can express with our actions, with our bodies. It's like, okay, and all of that is sexual expression. For me, there is no separation between any choice that I make and me and sex. Because sex is you knowing you got it. It's you strutting yourself. It's that confidence that no matter what shows up and who shows up, you'll know what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say, what energy to flow at them, what energies not to flow, what energies to pull, all of that. You know what to be, what's required of you in that moment. And that's sex. We are not told that. We're told that sex is the copulation. They kind of mix it all together. And so that's part of what I wanted to do with this call, is to make that really clear, that for me, there is no separation between sex and any choice I make. Because it's all me knowing more and more and more what's true for me. And then me knowing more and more and more what's true for other people, even if they're not willing to know. And then you can use that to your advantage, if you'd like. But that's just for me, right? You guys don't want that.
I think you'd be a great one to do a manipulating 101 course with.
Thank you for the acknowledgement. I was not willing to manipulate for most of my life. I was not willing to acknowledge all the different energies and be flirtatious and playful, and also be really firm when it was required. It was always like I was trying to be really nice. I was always worried about stepping on people's toes, like you're talking about, like, because I was so aware of how powerful I was, that I knew if I really let it loose, I could destroy. I could destroy planets. I probably have. And so I was always trying to keep it in check. And now I'm like, okay, well, what if that's the energy that's required that would create greater possibilities? And what if also the manipulation energy would create greater possibilities? It's not to do it in a way that's going to actually contract someone's world. It's to do it only when you're actually going to create greater possibilities for you, for them, and for the world. And when you do it from that space, like for instance, a question is one of the greatest manipulations. If you ask a question and you're empowering someone, you're actually manipulating them into considering greater possibilities. So if you're being in the question and you get that actually creates more, y'all get that you're being manipulators? Mm-hmm. How much more fun could you have with that if you didn't resist it and make it wrong and make yourselves wrong for considering that and playing with that energy? Yes. I saw that. What else? So really look at with this, because there's a lot we can go with this. There's so many things that we choose with our bodies and without our bodies, that we choose against our bodies. If anything, when we're trying to derail or override something, it's usually our bodies.
Yeah.
Not really other people so much, even though we tell ourselves that. And so one of the things that I invite you to is to play around with a yes and no of your body every day, all day, from anything that you wear, everything that you put on your body, anything you put in your body, anyone you put in your body, anyone that you put on your body, all of that. Really looking at, is this a yes for my body? Is this a no for my body? So go ahead. Was somebody? I heard something. No? Okay. So just get a sense, before we go today, just get a sense of all the times that you chose what was true for your body, what would actually work for your body in any lifetime. And just really pull all that energy into your body now. Like, wow, look at all the places where I actually listened to my body, created with my body, partnered with my body, had a sense that my body was my best friend, my travel companion, that no matter where I am, I have my body. And pull that into your body from all directions, from the front, into your back, into the sides, from below and above. And maybe it's showing up in your body a little bit different than you expected. So this is all the times and all the ways that I have said yes to my body. And ask for more of that to show up and have it ramp up and ramp up and ramp up in your body. You don't have to really think about it. You can just ask and it'll shift. And it'll ramp up and it'll go up and 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 up. And you can have that swirl around throughout your entire body. And as you increase it even more, and increase it even more, and continue to expand your awareness even more beyond all the multiverses where you had expanded before, beyond any limit that you've ever set for yourself in your awareness. And ramp up that energy even more of the yes for your body. Yes, body, I'm willing to receive all of your yeses. I'm willing to receive your awareness. I'm willing to add people and things to our life that will contribute to you and to us. This is a way when it's not quite clear what that yes is for you, because when I first played around with it, it was not clear. I did not have a clear yes. I did not have a clear no. I was so disconnected from my body that I was like, it's like people asking me to do this was like foreign. It was like, there's just no way. What? And so asking for this and then being like, okay, let's ramp it up even more. Let's actually acknowledge that even if I haven't been choosing it for the 20, 30 years of my life, at that point, I know I've done this. I know I've chosen it at some point. So let me have that awareness from all these other lives, all these other places, maybe from when I was a kid, whenever it is, it's like, okay, yes. And then really asking it to increase in intensity to the point that it's almost uncomfortable, because it was such a new thing for me that it was actually really uncomfortable. I was like, wow, this isn't something that I knew was okay. I didn't give myself permission to have that yes with my body for most of my life. What if that wasn't wrong for any of us? All right, everything that is, let's let that go, and let's increase the yes even more. All right, yeah. And now flow out that yes to everyone that is looking for clarity about their yes with their body. For anyone that has that disconnect with their body, that you can invite them to be uncomfortably aware that this is possible, and of what it could create for them to have that yes clearly, easily, and with way too much freaking fun. Let's flow that out to them from all directions, to everyone in the world and any other worlds that is looking for this, that's willing to receive this, that's asking for this. And flow it out, and flow it out, and flow it out, and flow it out, and flow it out in all directions, from the top of your head, from below you, from the sides, from the front and the back. And as soon as you're doing that for a while, let's go ahead and increase the flow. And now even out the flow. And have that gifting and receiving from them and their bodies to you and your body, and back and forth, back and forth. And radiate out what's true for you and what's your yes, what lights you up, and receive what's true for them and lights them up. And back and forth, and gift and receive, and gift and receive, and gift and receive. Yeah. This is also a really lovely exercise to do that I like to do anytime I'm feeling alone. Energy flows are great at creating your life, your businesses, your money flows, and it's also wonderful and a great manipulation to facilitate yourself out of crunchy moments, out of those lies that you are ever by yourself, out of those lies of you thinking that you're sucky and crappy and are never successful and not capable of doing anything. Those energy flows are something that we are just naturally able to do, and we all can sense it and pick up on it in really different ways. And I do it differently every time I do it. So we'll definitely be doing some more energy flows starting tomorrow and the next 4 weeks in this 4-week deep dive. You might have heard of it already. We're going to be doing expressing your exuberant sexual self, like I mentioned, and it's 3 calls every week for 4 weeks, so there's 12 calls, and you get to choose the price you pay. There's 3 options. There's option 1 where you get to just be on the live calls, option 2 where you get to be on the live calls and get the audio recordings, and option 3 where you get to be on the live calls, get the audio recordings, and get a symphony session from me. An hour long. And somebody asked, so I'm letting y'all know in case you didn't see the post, that you can split up that hour-long session to 2 30 minutes or just have 1 hour long, whatever works for you. And we can schedule that. But what's interesting about symphony sessions is that it actually unlocks how you gift and receive, how communion with you and your body and everything around you can actually be like for you. And for everybody, it's really different. And each symphony session, just like any other energetic session, is very different. So if you haven't had one before, or you certainly haven't had one from me, you might want to consider it, because this is a great way to do it in an affordable, cheaper way. Because it's a discounted price with it including the whole program. I really wanted to make it very easy for people to actually access what's that exuberant self for them using these sexual energies that we often block. We often aren't willing to acknowledge, oh wow, how much am I receiving from the earth? How much am I aware of and receiving from other bodies? What are my gifts and capacities with that? And what if I didn't have to stop them, block them, slow them down, or limit them ever again? So that's what I'm inviting y'all to. Thank you so much for being a part of this call. Let me know if there's any other way I can contribute to you and your beautiful bodies. And you'll get the replay for this video by email. Just got to send me your email, because I think this one, it was a free call. So if you'd like the replay, cool. If not, that's fine too. But thank you so much for sharing this time with me. And I hope that you have a wonderful day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are.
Thank you.
I love the kisses. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.